More than 3 years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the conflict has devolved into a war of attrition.
Наскільки це можливо сьогодні?
The war has exacted a heavy toll on the Ukrainians and the Russians alike. Hundreds of thousands of Russian and Ukrainian soldiers have been killed or wounded. Millions of Ukrainian civilians have been killed or displaced. Ukraine's infrastructure, from residential buildings to the energy sector, has been damaged or destroyed. Against all odds, Ukraine has prevented Russia from achieving its initial objectives and maintains control over hundreds of square kilometers of Russian territory after a surprise offensive in the Kursk region last summer. But Russia continues to occupy some 20% of Ukraine, making significant gains late last year. Now, Ukraine's future and the broader transatlantic security relationship is in question.
Say this, I believe I will be able to make a deal between President Putin and President Zelensky quite quickly.
Here at home, President Donald Trump has promised to deliver a quick end to the war. The United States has benefited from the order and stability that's existed across Europe for the greater part of the last century. But questions abound about the United States' role as Europe's security guarantor and the future of economic and military assistance to Ukraine. At the same time, Europe has struggled to find its footing and step up to not only defend Ukraine, but provide for its own long-term security. A secure, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine grounded in the West is in our interests. Losing Ukraine would undercut the strength of the transatlantic alliance and encourage adversaries to take actions against U.S. partners. It would also mark the first victory for the emerging axis of autocracies. There has never been a more critical time to inform U.S. engagement on Ukraine than now. That's why we've launched the Council's Special Initiative on Securing Ukraine's Future, led by Senior Fellow Paul Stairs, to analyze the various challenges the U.S., Europe, and Ukraine must overcome to end the war. The initiative focuses its efforts on the following issues. Achieving peace. How can a just and durable peace deal be reached? What are the necessary conditions for all parties? How can the United States best facilitate that peace? Preparing for and realizing Ukraine's reconstruction and economic recovery. What does Ukraine need to boost its economic growth and rebuild its critical infrastructure? How can this be achieved? What external support is needed? Building a framework for Europe's long-term security. How can Ukraine be integrated into the European framework? What does Europe need to do to deter Russian aggression in the future? What will the U.S. role be in the continent's security architecture? Since its inception in 2024, the Special Initiative has convened meetings with top experts and policy officials and commissioned actionable policy reports that provide innovative solutions for the conflict's most complex challenges. We've already seen the direct impact of our work. In 2025, we plan to continue this momentum. Securing Ukraine's future is not just about strategizing an end to the war within the next 12 months. It requires looking past the cessation of hostilities to tackle the long-term economic and security challenges for Ukraine, Europe, and the United States. In the months and years ahead, we hope you'll engage with us on this effort.